Hi. Welcome to If You Don't Love It, You're a Liar. We're finally back. It's 2025.
Happy New Year.
It is 2025.
Wild.
It's nuts. It's bonkers. It's bananas. But we're here.
We've made it.
It's been a little while, but we wanted to talk to you about, well, first off, I do want to say that I am on a show. I'm on a show.
And if you're an avid watcher, you already knew that.
You already knew that, and you already watched the first episode because the first episode already dropped.
Right. On Peacock.
On Peacock, it airs on NBC Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Following day comes out on Peacock, so you can stream it on Peacock. But I am on a show. It's called Deal or No Deal Island Season 2, and so we're gonna get into that.
Oh, guys.
All right, fine. So show came out. First episode is out. And I wanted to talk about the tea. If y'all have watched the show, phenomenal. You'll be able to get it. You'll definitely understand. I'm going to give y'all some behind-the-scenes shit. If y'all haven't seen it, I really do want y'all to see it because it's so good and it's phenomenal. So moving forward,
where else?
Yeah, right. Like moving forward as the episodes air and everything, we will definitely give you the inside scoop.
And I genuinely hope you guys watch the episode before you watch this. Because honestly, all the feelings that I expressed today were what I was feeling when I was watching it in that moment. So I just don't know how anyone could take it any other way. And so I hope that you watch the episode, you see what we're saying, and then you're like, oh, duh. Because it really is a dumb moment. It really is. It really is.
Tuesdays on NBC, Wednesdays on Peacock.
Right. It is really good. Sony, what episode is out? So if y'all seen it, y'all know that I was on the bottom.
First episode for no reason.
Sheesh.
For no reason.
I was on the bottom with David and Luke. We decided to take the riskiest path. And we decided to take a zip line to get red cases, which we couldn't see the amounts on them. There was a safe route, there was a medium risky route, and they were all able to see their values. I don't want to be a rules game explainer.
Hold on. Why did you choose that route, though?
I chose that route, and I said this, and that's the thing. With this episode, I'm going to share with y'all what they didn't air, which is totally tea. Now, I picked the risky route because on the way there to the first challenge, everything in me was, if there is a risky case, if there's a red case, because in season 1, there are red risky cases. They're very sporadic. You never know when they are. But everything in me is if there's a risky case, you need to take it.
Right. It's better than whatever anybody else got.
Yeah, regardless of what it is, no matter how scary it is, I don't like heights or anything like that. So I was just like, I bet I'm going to just do it. So when we went there and Joe told us the risky cases, y'all got to take a zip line across the ocean, I was like, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah,
like, I really don't. I love water, but I don't like heights.
When you fell in the water, I was like, Say's like, ah!
I know, that's what I said. I was like, at least she could swim.
I was like, Say's hype. She was like Marco Polo by herself.
Yeah, no, I do. I love water, but I'm like, to get on there and get in the zip line, I was just like, ew. It's disgusting. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to follow my intuition and whatever. I'm just going to go for it. So I went for it. Now, there's 3 cases there. Now, firstly, what I will say is that when we first went on the zip line, David was like, guys, I want y'all to keep an eye out for the people who have the highest values, who are going for the moderate risky, that are jumping on the rocks. I want you to keep an eye out for what they're choosing. Now, the thing is I have disgusting vision. I can't see worth dick. I really can't. So I told David in the moment, I'm like, I can't see shit. And really in that moment, I'm like, I'm with 2 strong men. So I don't really care what I do. I'm going to be honest. I don't really care what I do because
Are they straight?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then handle it.
So I'm like, I'm like, you know what, y'all gonna do what y'all gotta do.
Y'all the ones.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be cute and I'm gonna be the girlie that took the most risk, and I'm just gonna go through with it and y'all battle it out because it is what it is. So when David was aggy and he's on some like, oh, y'all, he's talking in his confessionals.
Not paying attention.
Yeah, when he's talking in his confessionals, which I see for the first time when episode 1 airs, and he's like, oh, I'm here working with the 3 Stooges, like they ain't even go for the cases.
Sejal is cheersing. Just But anybody that watch, Seychell is cheersing.
I'm like, woohoo! It's done with. I'm done with it. Gucci. I'm lit. And I saw another podcast with Johnny Fairplay and Amy from the first season, and Johnny Fairplay was like, Seychell did not give a fuck, but the difference between Seychell and Luke is that Seychell genuinely didn't give a fuck. And honestly, he read me down. Yeah. I really didn't. I was reading else. I'm like, all right, like, I really don't care. I can't see anyways. And I remember telling David that I'm like, I can't see anyways what they're grabbing. So I really don't care. I'm just going to go down this hole and make it to the fucking island and secure my briefcase, and whatever it is, we'll deal with it when we deal with it. That's how I felt. I was like, I really don't give a fuck. So I got my shit. We all went. David was aggy as I seen his confessionals, and I'm just like, whatever. David spends his time looking at the cases. He doesn't know that they switched their cases, whatever, which is tea. Which
is typical.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously, like, they would. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're seeing you pick the cases, so obviously it would make sense to switch. Right. So we get there or whatever. And the first thing is we see the cases that are revealed on the low end side. Then it's our turn. And Luke gets a steal.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Luke gets a steal. So in my mind, what I'm thinking is I do not want to give any hardcore opinions because I am here with two strong men. So if they fuck this up, it's going to be on them. If they make it right,
just like the state of the United States,
the two strong men, the straight white men, the two strong men. I don't want to seem like a threat at all. I already knew I'm going into this, and I'm like, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So David is telling Luke, you know, I know what the high cases are. Huh? Yeah. I know what the high cases are, but Luke is like, nope, it's a bird in hand. It's gonna be a pig. It's gonna be a pig in a hole.
Oh yeah.
If we don't.
Also, the one that was talking all the shit in the confessionals, he was being very dramatic.
Who?
What's his name? David. I felt like he was being he was like, like on the side, like mad stress, but on his own. Didn't tell y'all.
Yeah.
Didn't tell y'all. So y'all over here cheersing. What's the one? Luke. Luke's over here choosing the bitch that had the case four people ago because he's just like, I was watching and he wasn't. And David's throwing a hissy fit on the side. Like, why are you throwing a hissy fit? Talk to your teammates, I feel like.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. Like, we did talk about it, but it didn't air. So he did tell us, but I'm like, when I'm up there on the zip, I can't see. I have very bad vision. Like, I couldn't see. I remember telling him, like, I can't see anyways. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the way that they edit, the way they cut it, whatever. Fine, it works. I get it. So we go there, and Luke is like, nope, it's a bird in the hand. We're going to go for the cases that we can see, which are the lowest values. And what CK said, their highest value case is still the lowest. It's still lower than their highest case for the people who went in the Rocky Trail. But Luke decided to go for that.
Like, I also just don't understand what was the plan?
His plan was, we're going to go after what we can see. Because the people that went in the Rocky Road haven't revealed their cases
yet. Didn't he
yet.
make like 450,000?
Yeah, it was low.
It was low as fuck. So like, anything else would have just been better. It could have been $2. Like, all right, you took the risk.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, he's bombing, but he's bombing. They ain't got shit to do with me. Because by the time I opened mine, I didn't even have a swap or steal. I just had the lowest value, so there was nothing I can possibly do. I'm just being cute. Sitting pretty, looking phenomenal. If I do say so myself,
she looks fabulous through the whole show, especially in that last episode. My dress. You better tune in, guys. You better tune in.
I did eat down.
You ate with
the
that.
Makeup was lame.
Everyone
the hair was
ratty
lame.
hair. The ratty hair. The ratty hair. Come on, a brush. It exists.
Right.
There's beach waves and then there's ratty hair.
Yeah, it's giving donkey tail.
No, like I was really struggling there. Yeah. It was really annoying.
So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. He takes that, and then Sydney, the red-haired bitch, talks to David on some because David got a swap. Absolutely not.
Okay, because I'm probably gonna talk shit about her at some point.
No, absolutely not, and I'll definitely disclose why I am not. But yeah, so David has his case. And then Sydney tells him because Sydney is literally, she is on that man's dick like a foreskin.
Ew.
Like so everyone can understand. Foreskin. She came on and she's like, I'm here for the game, but if I see here to meet some guys. And it's just giving, you haven't been to the doctors in 8 years. Like, focus on that and don't like come on a game show to like find men. It was very ridiculous.
Right.
And her hair was ratty.
Right. So she's on some David, listen, I have a deal for you. Like, if you want to take our 750Ks, y'all will be at the top. And they'll be at the bottom because Luke took the worst case from the bottom crew. So they'll be at the bottom. Dumb. I'll offer it to you or whatever. And David was like, nah, I think I saw Letty take the highest case, but he didn't know that they switched. So David was like, nah. He was like, I'm going to go with Letty, but Letty switched her case. So we didn't get the $1 million case. We got the $500,000 case. So because of the two strong, intelligent men in our team, we were at the bottom. Right? Because what could I do? I was given the case with the lowest value. I had 75 grand. Man. There's nothing I could do. I was just sitting pretty and I was just like, well, they're going to have to battle that themselves. I felt like it was very obvious at that point. Like, y'all two really fucked up. Right. Like, y'all two really fucked up. Like, so, and so when we get to the island, now the thing is, right, is I went to the island, right? And I went up to Sydney and David. Right, because Sydney is talking to David, and she's like, "Oh, like I feel like the queen." So I'm like, "Hey, like, how you feeling?" And she's like, "Oh, like I'm good or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, like what are you thinking about doing with your power?" And she's like, "Oh, like I kind of want to keep you around because I think you're funny or whatever. Like you're a funny bitch or whatever." Ugh. And I'm just like, now, what y'all don't know, what was filmed but was not put in, was that everything Sydney was doing with David, she was doing with Luke. Okay. So
I
had a conversation with Sydney. I had a conversation with Luke. More than that was aired. And Sydney came over while I was talking to Luke. And she's on some Seychelles. Don't you think Luke has just like the sexiest lips ever? And I'm looking at her and I'm like, one thing I'm not going to do here is I'm not going to suck no dick.
Ever.
I'm never going to suck David dick. I'm never going to suck Luke dick. And honey, I am definitely not sucking yours,
because they're not writing the check.
Yeah, like I'm not doing it. Like, if that's the game you want to play, good for you. If it works, cool. If it don't work, even better for me. But literally, I remember talking to Luke on the beach and talking to him about it, whatever. And Sydney coming over on some, oh my God, isn't he like so sexy? She was giving him her little fucking straw bucket hat, putting it on him, sitting on him. Everything she was doing with David, she was doing with Luke. So I'm seeing this and I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, right. And that's
like,
just
I'm not doing this. I'm not a cornball. You know what I'm saying? I don't relate to either.
Don't have ratty hair.
Yeah, like I'm not doing it. I'm definitely not doing it. And so yeah. So that happened. So throughout the episode, you'll see me talking to my tent alliance, right? Like you'll see me talking to Letty, you'll see me talking to Philip.
Wait, so I have a question about that. How did you guys choose your tents? Because
we just chose it randomly.
Okay, because I also love that each one had like a color theme. And I was like, oh, the yellow theme, oh, the red theme. Right. Like I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I also thought that there was just more thought behind the tents. But I feel like all of you fell in line with the right people in those tents. Like I feel like even like CK's tent, like when I saw them together, I was like, I would have put these people together. Like you guys did a great job just choosing where you belong, the people that you were going to get closest with. And then even your friend Philip.
Yeah.
Philip. Love Philip. Oh my God. I would have had to be literally next to him.
Yeah, I was next to him.
We could have connected the beds, honestly, Philip. I love you. But I feel like that was just a great room to be in because I also feel like all of you were neutral.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the people in the other rooms, the CK room, I feel like a lot of that was they were already coming in like, what's the plan? What's the plan? But I feel like your room was so neutral in the sense of like, who do you fuck with? Who do you fuck with? You don't fuck with that person. You fuck with this person. Thank you for letting me know. You know, like I feel like it was great. We also have to get into. Well, actually, go ahead. Continue.
Well, what I was gonna say is, we all know what happens at the end of the episode. Like Luke makes a bad deal and he gets sent home, right? And he's done some podcasts with other like YouTube and podcasts or whatever. And he says he's done this throughout the week since the episode aired. And he says, oh, like Seychelles came out really toxic in the episodes, which I love. Please,
I also don't think you were toxic in any way.
I really wasn't, but I'm just like
in any way.
Yeah, like if
that's the narrative.
I think you told him that he fucking sucked, and you fucking sucked. That's why you got. Listen, watch the episode. But,
right. But I was just like, it's great. I really don't care either way. But he was like, the reason why Seychelles was, like that is because I told her that I shook David's hand, right? And I told him that if I played and I won, that I would be sending Seisho home. So when we were in the tent, right, the second we got back to our tent and we had already established it was us, I was still in my red dress. I was still in my red dress from the challenge, from being on the boat. And the second we got back, we were all talking about, okay, like, all right, when Letty says, oh, like, Luke wants to play the banker, and he's like, oh, like, I made my bet, I want to lay in it. At that moment.
Which I thought was great because he took accountability for his horrible decisions in the
right,
challenge.
and the thing is like,
I was like, good for him.
Right, like, you're rooming with us. This is totally different from season 1 where everyone kind of
is like trying to be a team.
They have their own backs. Like, in this thing, it makes sense. In this season, it makes sense to have alliances.
Right.
Like, you have the tent with the highest people. Like, it makes sense. So I remember we were all talking to him, and we were all saying, like, I mean, it's very obvious. Mm-hmm. If you lose, you would get rid of David. He agreed. He was like, yup.
So he's one of the girls.
Right. He wanted a girlie.
He wanted a girlie.
Right. So he was like, yup, or whatever. It was me, Storm, Philip, Letty, and him. And he was on some like, yup, I'll get rid of him. We did the high five. We were like, all right, bet, cool. Gucci. Bet, okay?
Which would make the most sense.
Which was genuinely the only smart decision Luke made in the episode.
Right. It would make the fucking most sense. So I'm like, all right, good. Like, I'm feeling good about it because honestly, I'm like, all right, like, it makes no sense. And I had already seen how Sydney and David was moving with each other and how Sydney was moving with Luke. So I was just like, I don't really feel like I got to do too much. I kind of want to walk around the island and see how everybody else is feeling. I talked to everybody. I talked to every single person on that island.
And they showed it in the episode.
They didn't show it in the episode.
I feel like I literally was like, saying getting her in.
Yeah, they did do that little couple minutes where they were like, Stacia's over there talking to them.
Stacia's there. I feel like I was like, good for her work in the room.
Yeah.
I did. I talked to everybody and everyone was on the same time. Like, yes, obviously it makes fucking sense to get rid of
But hold on. So now this brings up my next thing. The bitch from Survivor.
Parvati.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows who I am, but everybody knows. Poverty. I don't know what happens further into the season, but I just felt like, girl, I don't know why you think this is like the master grand plan, that everyone knows who you are, but they don't. Because at the end of the day, I haven't seen the second episode, but I can't imagine people not saying, this is Poverty. Like, I don't know why she thinks it's such a big secret. It didn't make sense to me. Maybe because I'm a fan.
Maybe because it seemed like everybody knew already in the first episode. Like, a lot of people were talking about it.
It genuinely seemed like the guy.
Philip?
No, Philip knew. David knew.
Dixon knew.
One of the girls, MG knew. Like, it seems like maybe 2 characters did not know. I knew who she was as soon as I saw her. So for her to be running around being like, oh, well, you know, people aren't talking, and then I'm seeing my bitch work the room. I'm like, girl, stop. Like, everyone knows who you are. Like, that was very annoying to me, because I also feel like she's kind of trying to use it as, like, you should be afraid of me. I don't think anyone should be afraid of her. Her game in Survivor was... Her game in Survivor was using her woman card in Survivor. Using her woman card in Survivor. So I just feel like it wasn't a different game than what we saw previously. And so I just felt like...
Very, very one note.
Very one note.
Very one note.
Yes, and we all know who you are. And so I'm hoping that in the second episode, everyone realizes that that's her game. That nobody knows who she is, even though we all know she won Survivor every single time. That she went on 800 times. Yeah, that was very annoying. That was the most annoying part of the show for me.
For you?
For me. I thought it was the most annoying part of the show. And I honestly can't see any other Survivor watcher not being annoyed by that. Why are you acting this way? Like, you're acting like a celebrity, but you don't want to be. But you're running with that. And then you're also using the same tactic you used on the show, rubbing people's faces, to then do that again here now on Deal or No Deal Island. It's annoying and it's old. It's old. I mean, I don't know who wins. I don't know if it's going to work for her. I don't know how far she makes it, but it was very annoying. Because basically she is the straw hat passer. Who's straw hat passer?
Sydney?
She is basically an older Sydney. Sorry! I went there.
A read.
She's an older Sydney. Sydney will get where Poverty is. Don't get me wrong. She will get there. But it's gonna take some jaw work.
Some practice. And heavy jaw work.
Ooh.
Heavy jaw work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot what I was saying.
Well, we were talking about you meeting everyone and greeting everyone authentically. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, so Luke had told me, like, okay, yeah, he's gonna send me home, whatever. After, oh no, I didn't even say that. So yeah, so Luke had told me originally, yeah, like we have made the alliance in our tent, whatever. All of a sudden, I see him shaking David's hand. People are telling me, oh, I saw him shake David's hand or whatever. I'm not pressed about it. I'm like, all right, maybe he did that for show. I really don't give a fuck, whatever. We go into our tent. We're getting ready for temple. I have my towel on. This is shit that they did not air.
I wish they would have.
And we're all in the tent because I pulled everybody to my tent. Everybody that was on my side, because I had done my work and talking to everybody, I pulled everybody into the tent. And I was just like, I pressed Luke. I was like, Luke, what are you going to do? And he was like, well, I'm going to be honest with you, Seychelles. Like, like if I do, if I play the banker and I win, like I'd be sending you home. And I looked at him and I said, well, you know that you're going to eat it. And he was like, huh? And I was like, you're going.
He doesn't know what he's talking
about. I was like, you're going to eat it. And he was like, all right. And at that moment, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to give it to God.
Village of idiots.
It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. That's the biggest moronic choice I've ever heard of. But you know what? Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I got ready. I was doing my skincare, did my makeup. We go to temple. We go to temple pretty much as you see, Luke bombs. Literally bombs. Yeah, he does really
the lowest offer that the banker has ever given in deal or no deal history. Not even deal or no deal island.
I almost felt like he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
because he be that dumb.
Because I genuinely think the banker already was like, dummy alert, dummy. Because that is the lowest offer that the banker has ever given in deal or no deal history. Not deal or no deal island. Yeah, that's been on for 2 seasons. History of deal or no deal. So Luke, stop.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? Like I'm sitting there, and you can see my face and shit, and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just like, there's no shot I could be going home first.
Ever.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I'm just like, you know what? I give it to God, and he bombed. He only secured $1, and he sent his own ass home.
$1. Which
I was very like, you deserve it, honey. Yeah, as he said himself, he was like, I deserve it. And I'm like, yes, you do. Get off the banker's island. Fabulous. Love that for me. Now when Luke after this all airs, and currently he's going on podcast, right? And he is saying, he's like, the reason why Seychelles came across as so toxic in the first episode was because I told her she was going home. But I'm playing a very.
I also don't like him trying as someone that was on the show trying to act like a viewer, talk about you were portrayed as toxic. I don't think so.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get toxic at all.
No,
that's just you, Luke.
Right? Yeah,
that's just you.
There's no shot
trying to portray a situation. That's just you.
There's no shot,
sir.
But Luke was saying in his interviews, that he really wanted to play a very genuine, a very a game of integrity, right? And he's like, I made right, and I agree, right? I'm like, this ain't a game about that. That's not how I want to play the game, but fuck it. But he's on some he shook David's hand, whatever. But the tea is that you told me and our alliance first that you were gonna get rid of David,
right?
Then you decided to shake David's hand. So let's not talk about playing a game of integrity and honesty.
I also don't understand how we're claiming integrity and honesty when your partners in that challenge were telling you to do something and you were like, no.
Right.
No.
Right.
No, because if you're playing a game of integrity, it's teamwork makes the dream work. You did what you wanted to do after they literally were like, I wouldn't do that. I don't know. You did what you wanted to do. And then you're I don't understand. Either team player or not.
Right.
It's giving jaw work.
Right. So that's the thing with that, right? It very much is giving that. You know what I'm saying? I obviously knew what happened, and then seeing the first episode, I'm like, oh wow, there was a lot that wasn't shown. But it was that. I was
Luke is fabricating a story that he's making in his head that makes sense for him. Because nobody, when that man made his decision, everybody in the bar gasped. Because it didn't make sense, eh? We were all like, what do you mean? It didn't make sense. So I genuinely think that he is just making up the story in his head because nobody saw it that way. It would be one thing if somebody was on your side. I saw your perspective. There's no perspective to have. There's no perspective.
I totally get you on that.
No, you're totally right. Bar was, dummy. I'm joking. And I actually think I have a video of us walking out of the bathroom. And I think we came out during that scene. And I didn't even know what was going on yet. And they're like, this guy just made a stupid ass decision. So like, I just feel like, yeah, like you're the only one that feels the way you do. And I think whatever this telling his story, I think whatever this telling his story is, I genuinely think it's made up in his head. Because genuinely, most of America was confused as to how you could take it any other. There's no other way you could take it.
Yeah.
Very dumb decisions. And I would prefer him to say that. Because now it just seems like he's trying to drag it. And for what?
Yeah, no.
For what?
When I saw his thing, he was like, oh, you know, what's it called? I told Tayshaw, I'm just like, there's so much tea, honey, that you're not disclosing. Like,
say the entire bar.
Sydney was on your dick. Sydney was on David's dick. I 100% believe that because Sydney was writing both of their dicks, that's why Luke was on some, like, if I win, I'm going to get rid of Tayshaw. Everything. There's so much other shit that, like, I know that is genuinely not my tea to tell. It's just not. And so I'm not going to share it right now. I think the reason that it was edited that way is to give the audience a very much on some, we have no idea who's going to go home.
Yeah.
That's really why it was.
I think genuinely by it was a 2-hour special. I would say about 180 minutes into that, we knew Luke was going home. Like we knew Luke was going home. Like it was because we also knew that if you guys won, or one of you guys had the power, you were gonna get rid of Luke because of the decisions he was making. Say, I don't know if you remember, or you were probably in your moment, which is fine. People were literally like, "Are you dumb?" Like we were shouting at the TV screen because it was just dumb. So I just feel like if producers really wanted to make it a moment, they should have threw in the Sydney thing, show us that she was flirting with everybody because we know she was. And that would have made it more juicy. I feel like we all knew that man was going home. We all knew before y'all even got to the damn thing.
Well, all I will say is thank God he did.
Thank God. That was just so pitiful.
I hope you're enjoying Wisconsin, Luke, with your walleyes and your dad. And enjoy.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, goodness. Enjoy that. And I think that we're Gucci. To end, yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that was perfect.
Right. It's been a minute.
Yeah, as many say, nothing in life is perfect, but we are. So tune in because we are going to every week from now on give y'all the inside scoop on what happens on episodes on Zero No Zero Island. And see the fucking first episode, and the next episode comes out Tuesday, NBC, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next day, streaming on Peacock. Fuck this. Juicy.
All to your shade.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, Luke.
Bye, Luke.